All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of our minds, the upcoming union budget. For millions of us who are salaried, it really boils down to one major question. Are we finally going to get some tax relief? In this explainer, we're going to dive into all the buzz, the biggest hopes, and what the experts are predicting for the 2026 budget.
So here it is, the big question. Is this the year we see a major tax cut? Could this be the budget that puts a little more money back in your pocket every month? Let's break down what people are hoping for.
And look, this isn't just wishful thinking. There's a real, widespread feeling that after some tough economic times, the government's focus is going to shift to giving the salaried middle class some much-needed breathing room.
Okay, so where does all this hope come from? Well, the number one thing everyone's talking about is redrawing the tax brackets. We're talking about potentially changing the core structure of how our income is taxed. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's do a super quick refresh. A tax slab is basically just a range of income. As you earn more and climb into a higher slab, that chunk of your income gets taxed at a higher rate. Think of it like a staircase. Each step up is a higher tax rate.
So the main proposal, the big one, is all about that top tax bracket, the 30% rate. The idea is to change when that rate even begins to apply, and honestly, this could be a total game changer for a lot of people.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at the difference here. Right now, as soon as your income crosses 24 lakhs, that top 30% rate kicks in. The proposal, or at least the hope, is to push that starting point way up, maybe to 40 or even 50 lakh rupees. That's huge.
Just let that number sink in. 40 lakh. If the 30% tax rate only starts after you've earned 40 lakhs, it means a massive chunk of your income is taxed at lower rates. For so many professionals, this would directly translate to a lot more disposable income.
But hey, it's not just about that top 30% bracket. The conversation is much bigger than that. People are also talking about raising the basic tax-free limit, or maybe even creating a new lower top rate, something like 25%, for people earning up to 50 lakhs.
All right, moving on from the tax slabs themselves, let's talk about another huge area of hope. Deductions. You know, those specific things that help lower your taxable income and let you keep a little more of your hard-earned money. Now, if you're a salaried employee, you know the words standard deduction are music to your ears. It's that simple, no-fuss deduction that you get no questions asked. It just straight up reduces the income you pay tax on. At the moment, that number sits at 75,000 rupees. And the general consensus among experts is that it's time for this to go up.
The buzz is all about bumping that up to a clean 1 lakh rupees. Now, it might not sound like a life-changing jump, but it's a direct, guaranteed tax saving for every single salaried person out there.
Okay, but what if you're sticking with the old tax regime? Don't worry, there's some good news potentially for you too. A lot of people find the old regime's deductions more useful, and there are hopes for some upgrades there as well. The two big ones everyone's watching are Section 80C, for things like your PF, life insurance, and other investments, and Section 80D for your health insurance premiums. The push is to raise the limits on both, which not only gives you more tax relief, but also encourages more saving and investment. It's a win-win.
Sometimes the best news is what you don't hear. So let's flip this around for a second. What are we not expecting to see in this budget? Because that can be a form of relief, too.
And this really sums it up. We've got experts like Dr. K.Rahual saying the whole vibe this time around is expected to be about relief, not about hikes. The government seems to be looking to ease the burden on taxpayers, not add to it.
So the takeaway here is pretty clear. It's really unlikely we're going to see any new, complicated surcharges or wealth taxes pop up. The focus seems to be on giving with one hand without taking away with the other.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We've talked about a lot of hopes. What's the bottom line here? And maybe more importantly, what's the one thing we absolutely have to remember?
To wrap it up, the hopes are really spread across the board. We're talking about a higher tax-free limit, much wider tax slabs, a bigger standard deduction, and better deductions for the old regime. Every single one of these could mean more money in your bank account each month.
And now for the most important part of this whole conversation, the reality check. We have to remember these are all just expert proposals, industry hopes, and predictions. Nothing, absolutely nothing is set in stone until the finance minister actually presents the budget.
So, as we wait for the official announcement, here's a final thought to leave you with. If these tax relief measures actually happen, how will that change things? How will it reshape the way the middle class in India spends, saves, and invests? It's a huge question, and the answer could really define our economy for years to come. Thanks for tuning in.